Hey everybody, it's Spence with 11th Hour Preparedness, and we're kind of in a very weird and interesting time right now. Today is March 27th, 2020, and if you look back in history, you'll probably find and realize that we're right in the thick of this pandemic called the coronavirus. And it's got a lot of people freaked out, and it's got a lot of people that are getting sick, and unfortunately people are dying. So this is a very serious thing. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, because going to the grocery stores, if you remember, or if you're currently experiencing this, it's kind of crazy right now. I know that Costco is limiting the number of people that they have in their store at any given point in time. I think the number is 400. There's a line that's standing out in front. There's a lot of things that's going on. And so going and getting food is not exactly the easiest thing. So this is something that I've actually had in the back of my mind for probably about 2 years when I first came across this, and it's the concept called hydroponic gardening. And so I figured this is the perfect time to really get started with this. And so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a video series that's very specific to my adventure in experiencing and learning and hopefully perfecting hydroponic gardening. Now, as I've researched this, I've come across a lot of different ways and means for people to do hydroponic gardening. And the one that appealed to me the most is a concept called the Kratky Method. And so that's what I have done. I've purchased all the stuff. I'm going to go through each one of these things here pretty quickly. And I want to show you exactly what is the Kratky Method and how do you use it, okay? So the first thing that you are going to need is you're going to need some type of a tub to hold onto all of the liquid. And so that's what I have here. This is just, and let me kind of preface this. I've gotten most of this stuff from either Home Depot or through Amazon. So all of this stuff is relatively expensive. I don't remember the exact numbers that I have spent on this, but it's about 140-ish. It might be a little less, might be a little bit more. So really, to get started with this is significantly inexpensive. So what it is, this is a concrete mixing tub, and I think this was 13 bucks, just shy of 13 bucks. And this is what's going to hold all of the liquid. This right here is the nutrient solution, and this nutrient solution, there's going to be directions on how do we even use this stuff. You got to pre-mix it, and then you got to add one at a time so that it is nothing that we're not dumping everything all in at the same time. So it's going to be pre-mixed. We're going to get some gallon-sized jugs, and we're going to mix it up, put some water in there, and we add it. This right here, these are net cups, and so just kind of give you an idea of what a net cup looks like. It's basically just a plastic cup that has basically holes. I mean, it's a screen. And so from that, we have this stuff right here is hydron, and it basically is a clay pebble. And what I have learned is that you're going to need to pre-wash this, rinse all the dirt and everything off of this prior to using it. The purpose of this is really to be the light block, but also the stabilizing purpose or means to hold that root. Inside here, this is called rock wool. Now these rock wools, if you can see it, let's see, there's little holes, and I'm going to do a close-up on all this stuff, but there's little holes, and this is where you're going to put the seed. Now rock wool that comes for the purpose of growing things is very different than the rock wool that they use for construction. That has a filament that goes into it. It acts like a fire retardant. This does not. Now rock wool basically is taking a molten rock, getting it really hot, and then spinning it like cotton candy, and then compressing it into these cubes. This is what you're going to use to hold the moisture as you're planting or starting the seed, and then this goes down into the net cup, and then you surround it with the pebbles. So that is the process with the rock wool. Again, relatively inexpensive. What I have in here is a pH balancing system. So it's different liquids that goes to create the proper pH balance, because a seed needs to grow with the right pH level, and this is going to be the means to accomplish that. And the way that you can even tell what is your pH balance within your water is, I bought one of these things here, little pH meter. Okay, So I'm gonna, as we go through this whole process, I'm gonna show you each of the steps that go along with this. If you've got any type of comments, anything that you want to add to this, if you got any experience that you would like to share, again, this is my first time. I've never done this before. I grew up in Alaska where we had a garden in our backyard, and I'm used to that type of gardening, but we had a lot of water, a lot of rain. Well, I live in the desert now, and there's not a lot of resources. And what happens if we don't have that anymore, or we have very limited supply of that water? That's the best part about this whole Kratky method, is that you put the water in there one time, and you put the solution in there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this, and this is basically insulation styrofoam that has an aluminum foil cover on one side of it. And we're going to go through the process. I'm going to show you, we're going to cut out an outline that's going to match over the top of this, and then we're going to drill holes where the net cup basically just sets down on top of this. Now let me talk a little bit about what the Kratky method is. The Kratky method is a means of being able to grow your plants without having to have any type of power. You don't need an air stone. You don't need to continually add water to it. This is an ongoing thing. And so with the Kratky method, it in essence is a set and forget type of a gardening approach. Well, in this type of situation where we may not have the resources, and it may not be this time, but it might be the next time. We may not have that resource. And so this is a very inexpensive way. You fill the tub up one time and you walk away from it. Now, one thing that I have not brought into the video is a grow light. And I'll show you when I get all that set up. The grow light I got at Home Depot, I think it was 40 bucks for that. But it's a bright light. It's a very, very powerful full spectrum light. The full spectrum lighting is in essence the same type of rays that you're going to get if you go outside. And so this is something that you will need in the process of gardening, so that your plants can grow. But in essence, that's it. That's all the equipment. Now granted, I have seeds. Now these seeds I went and got at Walmart. They're not anything special. It may not be the best thing. I know that there are better seeds that are out there, but this is inexpensive. So we're taking a very inexpensive approach to this just to see, can we even do this? And then the next question is, well, what kind of plants can you grow in a Kratky method gardening? And so that's all part of this experiment. Just for example, I've got some oregano, some sage, some lettuce, and some spinach. I know you can grow tomatoes. I know you can grow cucumbers. You just have to have the right approach. I know you can grow peppers and beans. You just have to have everything to stabilize and support. And obviously with a vine growing plant, you need to have something for the vine to grow onto. And that's one of the things that we're going to build. I'm just doing this in my basement. I don't have to worry about the heat from the outside. And so if you live in the desert like myself, then you've got to be actually quite cautious about the type of heat and everything that's going to hit your plants. Inside, it's relatively probably the same temperature always. Now granted, as the summer goes on, it's going to warm up a little bit down here, but that's not a bad thing. So that's it. That's all the equipment that I think I'm going to need for this. And so this is a journey. And so I'm going to put video after video. Just stick along with me. And if you got any questions, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer them as I learn the questions and I learn the answers. I may not know the answers, but I will need to do my best to find out, okay?